Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Top It Up podcast. If you're new here, hey, y'all. And if you're not new here, welcome back. You already know what's going on. Today, we are partnered up with the Roxbury Youth Program, and we are so happy to have them here.
All right, give it
All
up.
right, give it up. You know, we got a live audience. We're loving nothing, right? Okay. Don't forget. Follow us on all of our platforms. So at the.chop it up pod. I'm gonna pass it over to Brianna, and she's gonna tell us what we're gonna do today.
Okay, so first we have a reel from the First Church of Roxbury. Here's where truth becomes power. What if we told you that one of Boston's most historic churches, founded in 1631, is where powerful stories of both faith and resilience are finally being told?
Thanks to research commissioned by the UU European Emissary, we now know that at least 58 Black and Indigenous people were enslaved by members of this church between 1631 and 1775. These weren't just names in ledgers, they were humans' lives with stories, families, and futures.
Some were baptized right here, but never free. Some, including children, were even auctioned by the very people who worship in these pews. This isn't just Roxbury past, it's a foundational part of Boston history.
But here's where truth becomes power. Today, this same sacred space is home to UU Urban Ministries' Roxbury Youth Program, Afro-American Academy workshops, and community storytelling efforts that uplift the descendants of those once silenced.
We don't erase history, we confront it, honor it, and transform it into a source of strength. At the Afro-American Academy, we don't just study the past, we preserve it, uplift it,
and nurture the culture to thrive.
All right.
That was inspiring.
All right. That's what's up.
So now, as a collaboration between African Academy and RYP, we have, for the past week or so, we've studied the Sons of the Soil. So the Sons of the Soil exhibit is about not only the African American men from Boston, but the spaces and the locations they've blessed. You know, due to redlining, the African American community has lost some of its cultural spaces and cultural hubs. So right now, through this history and reclaiming the spaces that we have a right to.
Exactly.
So thank you thank you and enjoy our presentation. And our first presentation that we have coming up from Team One and Done for their Son of the Soil.
Let's give it up. Y'all come up. Team One and Done. Where y'all at? Let's present. Yeah.
Let's go, Team One and Done.
All right. Come on, Team One and Done. We ain't done yet. Let me know when y'all ready. Y'all got your camera, your mics. Yo.
Hello everyone, we're Team One and Done, and for our team, we chose to focus on Bill Russell. Can we go to the next slide, please?
Yeah.
All right.
Bill Russell was born February 15th, 1934 in Monroe, Louisiana, and moved to Boston when he was traded from the St. Louis Hawks to the Boston Celtics in 1956. Bill Russell was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1975 and served as a head coach for the Supersonics, Sacramento Kings, and Boston Celtics.
Can we go to the next slide?
Yeah, no problem. Let's try to get in the picture. I'm trying to get you on the picture. No problem. Go ahead.
All right. Outside of the court, Bill Russell was very civilly engaged. He attended the March on Washington, alongside Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lewis. He also participated in another protest within the city of Boston.
Oh my God. Go right ahead. Sorry.
He also owned the Slades. He also owned the Slades Bar and Cafe in Roxbury, which is down the street from here, off of Mass Ave. And during his protest, he assisted protesters who participated in the encampment of Tent City, which was organized by Mel King, and fed the protesters meals from his restaurant. Next slide, please.
Oh, I need more hands. There you go.
Bill Russell also organized a boycott in 1961 after two Celtic players couldn't eat at a restaurant in Kentucky. And he also created a integrated basketball camp during segregation in Mississippi. Next slide.
Next slide, please.
It just takes a while. Isn't that the next slide?
Yes.
Right.
As a legacy of the son of the soil, Bill Russell left landmarks named after him. He has the Bill Russell Bridge that was named after him in late October of last year. He also won 13 NBA championships, 11 of which was where he was playing on the team, and then 2 of those championships of where he was the head coach. He also was the head coach for 3 teams. He was the head coach for the Boston Celtics, and he was also the head coach for the Seattle Supersonics, I believe. And he's a 5-star MVP player, 12-time All-Star player, and he has received a Presidential Medal of Freedom, Medal of Honor. I think it was a Medal of Freedom, and that was given to him by President Barack Obama in 2011. He also has a statue outside of the Boston City Hall named the Bill Russell Project, which is basically a statue of him passing the ball, which just illustrates his plight as a team player and his generosity, which was a theme throughout his life. Another thing is that Bill Russell also owns Slade's Bar and Cafe, which is also part of his legacy as well. And all that made within his life makes him the son of the soil.
All right. Oh wait, I want to see the Bill Russell bill. Real. All right. So this is all right. Let's go.
Thank you.
Next
Hold
up,
on. No. They're supposed to. They have to watch that reel. Why is it not making noise? Why is the reel not making noise? Oh, that's why. I have to share that tab instead.
During a time of good racial tension. While leading the Celtics to 11 championships, Bill Russell and he was a symbol of strength and dignity for the city black community during a time of deep racial tension. While leading the Celtics to 11 championships, Bill Russell endured racism even from the fans in the city he made proud. But he never stayed silent. He used his platform to speak out, to challenge injustice, and embody black excellence. Bill Russell's legacy in Boston goes far beyond Boston. He was a symbol of strength and dignity for the city black community during a time of deep racial tension. While leading the Celtics to 11 championships, Bill Russell endured racism even from the fans in the city he made proud. But he never stayed silent. He used his platform to speak out, to challenge injustice, and embody black excellence.
Off the court, he lived in Reading, where his home was vandalized and received threats. Russell didn't retreat. He stood tall, pushing Boston to confront its own race. He said that people I admire most are those willing to stand up for what they believe in.
As the NBA's first black head coach, he opened doors that inspired future more from their city. He marched with Dr. King, stood by Muhammad Ali, and never stopped speaking truth to power.
Today, his impact lives beyond the court. In 2013, a statue was unveiled near Boston City Hall showing him passing the ball, a symbol of his lifelong mission to uplift others.
That statue and his historical reminder. Greatness isn't just about winning, it's about courage, leadership, and making sure the next generation can rise even higher.
Bill Russell is more than a legend, he is a legacy.
Wow. Good job. Looks like we gotta. So who's
The people are coming up is the Fantastic Five. Let's get that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Our Son of the Soil project is on Mel King. I'm Lysaria.
I'm Vanessa.
Hello, I'm Zach.
Next slide. So what does it mean to be, what does it mean to build a community and not just live in it? Mel King spent his entire life answering that question. So Mel King, he lived in Boston for over 50 years, and throughout those 50 years, he tried to make sure that his community got what it needed and make sure that their community know how to advocate for their needs. A great example of this is the protest of Tent City, which was basically, so there was an empty parking lot that they wanted to use for affordable housing because their neighborhood needed it, but the city wanted to use it for luxury housing for people who weren't really from the neighborhood. So Mel King and the rest of his community, they protested by camping out on the parking lot by putting tents and camping out for 3 days. During this time, there was people coming down, questioning them, interviewing them, and why they were doing this. But even then, when he was being questioned for why he protested or why he did this type of form of protest, Mel King still protested.
There was about 400 people who joined the protest. And Bill Russell provided food for the protesters from his restaurant, Spade and Salad Bar. After the protest was succeeded, the Tent City apartment was established in Boston South End. In 1968, a protest against urban renewal plans that were displacing residents. Mel King, like his legacy, helped empower residents of Back Bay to use their voice for local development in their community.
In 1983, he became the first Black.
Oh, sorry. I'm over here doing too much. Go ahead. My bad.
Wait, let me start over. In 1983, he became the first Black specialist for mayor in Boston, paving the way for new leaders like Anya Presley and Michelle Wu, our acting mayor. He believed love as politics acts, as unified with strategy and struggles of responsibility. Mel passed away in 2023, but his legacy lives on in every building, in every block, and inspiring young leaders to aspire for greatness. Let me go a little bit more in depth about his mayor and what he's trying to do.
Nice.
For his political lead, or mostly his acting campaign, was mostly about housing and also about helping the community, not just Black people, but whites, Latinos, Asians, gays, and everybody else. His acting speech was about, if you're not going to speak about yourself and about your problems, who else is going to speak for you? He also did his campaign was mostly a red coalition, mostly using the people around him and all the places and people around him to help him improve his mayorship and his
Take your
campaign.
time.
And that's all.
That's it.
Good job.
Now for their real.
Oh, yeah.
Now for their real.
What does it really mean to build a community, not just live in one? Mel King, a visionary and tireless advocate, spent every day of his life answering that question. Born in Boston's South End in 1928 to Caribbean immigrants, King grew up amid hardship but also deep-rooted hope. And rather than simply endure the challenges around him, he chose to become a builder of belonging. For over 50 years, Mel King was one of Boston's most powerful voices for justice and equity. In the 1960s, when Black families were being displaced by so-called urban renewal, he led the 10th city protest, erecting tents with neighbors right on the contested land. It wasn't just a protest, it was a declaration. Today, affordable housing stands on that ground because of his vision and determination. In 1983, he became the first Black finalist for mayor of Boston, paving the way for leaders like Anaya Presley and Michelle Wu. But King didn't seek power for himself. He built power with people. As a teacher, poet, state representative, and mentor, he believed in love as a political act, unity as a strategy, and struggle as a responsibility. Mel King passed in 2023, but his legacy lives on in every block we built, every young leader he inspired, and every act of resistance that dares to imagine a better Boston. He didn't just fight for change, he showed us how to build it.
Awesome. I'm just seeing some of these for the first full times. Awesome. All right, so we got.
All right. Y'all now for team 3, aka the Jackson 5.
Jackson 5. Who's playing that? Y'all have theme music now? Oh my goodness. Yeah, go right ahead.
Hi, my name is MJ.
Hi, my name is Supe. Hi, my name is Naya.
And we're representing Frederick Douglass, Son of the Soil.
Right. Tell him.
Okay, so
Tell him.
Okay, so for the first, as you could all see, so the first left side is the Frederick Douglass Square in Roxbury, and on our right side is African American House on 46 George Street in Boston.
Feel those transitions, y'all. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Why is it doing that? Okay. Go ahead.
Frederick Douglass didn't just survive history, he rewrote it. His truth was full of struggles, truth, and also strength. Through it all, he was still able to do what he do best by speaking his truth.
Frederick Douglass' early life. Douglass was born into slavery in Maryland in 1818. He never knew his real birthday, and he was taken from his mother when he was just a baby. Grew up treated like property, but even with nothing, he was something powerful, curiosity. He wanted to learn. That's where everything started.
Back then, it was illegal to teach Black people how to read or write, but Frederick Douglass knew that knowledge meant power and reading meant thinking. And, give me a second. And reading meant thinking. He said, oh my gosh, hold on. Okay. Choose to learn. Okay, wait. 1 second, I have this thing blocking it.
You're all good. Don't take your time.
He said, choose to learn to read and you will be forever free. That wasn't just a quote, that was the truth for him.
Oh. Capturing the moment.
Douglass escaped slavery at just 20 years old. That's young, but not younger, He risked everything for a shot of freedom. When he hears the word freedom, he's out of there, whoosh, He's a track star,
Right.
He didn't stop there. He knew his freedom meant nothing if others were still in chains. So he didn't forget about his people back then. So on the picture is describing the picture is describing a railroad, the Underground Railroad, aka.
and the bottom, are people fighting for their lives.
Got it. You look like great pictures too. Good job.
Next slide. Douglas didn't sugarcoat what he's been through. He told the truth. Even when the people didn't want to hear it, he wrote his own stories so people could see slavery through his eyes. And those stories shook people because they
And he did offer women's rights for schools and for fairness. Douglas believed that everyone deserves a fair shot no matter what. Even when the world told him to be quiet, he spoke louder.
If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Aka Frederick Douglass. Shout out to him for making that very spiritual quote. His voice changed the world. Now it's our turn to keep it going. So in today's society, especially in the United States, there's like Black Lives Matter movements and stuff like that. So his sayings and his actions really impact us in today's society. And this is why Frederick Douglass is very important in 2024 and on the phone call.
Yeah. Now it's time for the real.
All right, I got it.
Frederick Douglass didn't just survive history, he wrote history. His life was full of struggle, truth, and also strength. Once you hear his story, you'll understand why he still matters in today's society. Frederick Douglass was born into slavery around 1818 in Maryland. He didn't even know his real birthday. He was taken from his mom when he was just a baby. Douglass taught himself how to read. That might not sound as big in today's society, but it was surely a big thing in his time. If Black people were to read during that time, they would have been punished. He knew that learning to read meant having power, and once he started reading, he saw just how messed up and unfair slavery really was. He once said, "Once you learn to read, you will be forever free." Douglass escaped slavery when he was just 20 years old. He risked everything for a shot at freedom. He knew his freedom meant nothing if others were still in chains, so he spoke up. He became a powerful speaker, writer, and a true leader for his people. He made people think that they could speak their mind. He wrote about his life so people could really understand what slavery was like from someone who lived through it and see what it has done to people. He spoke out for women's rights, and he pushed for education, and he stood strong for justice no matter what. He believed that everyone deserved a fair shot no matter who they were. Douglass didn't just leave behind powerful words, he left behind a message we can all still learn from today. He showed us that it doesn't matter where you are and also how you started, you can still make a difference.
All right.
And now for Team 4, the A team.
The A team. Yeah, I'll send order. Y'all know how to do this. Y'all know how to do this.
I can talk to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go right ahead, Steph.
All right. So I'm Stephanie. Welcome, everyone. And our project of the Sons of the Soil, we did Malcolm X.
My name is Treon. And my name is Elijah.
My name is Jasmine.
Next slide, please.
So sorry.
You are not locked in.
Next slide.
All right, so this is
Okay. So Malcolm X, he was born on May 19th, 1925 in Omaha, Nebraska. I mispronounced that.
Yes.
At a young age, especially at 6, his father was killed by most likely white supremacists, and his mother was internalized and basically sent to an asylum. After those two traumatic experiences he ended up moving into Boston with his half sister.
Next slide.
This is next slide.
Oh, so I still do that. Okay. All right. While in Boston, he was known around the neighborhood for working and a busboy. But outside of those lives, he was working, well, not working, but he was hanging around with street crews. And obviously that led to an impact. And Boston, which has, well, back then had a lot of negative things, and at a young age, you'll be easily influenced by these things. So especially, I believe, with him hanging around with these street crews, he ended up dropping out of high school at a young age of 15. And with that, so while Malcolm living in Boston with his half sister, he see how the racial impact Black families with their daily lives, jobs, and also housing. And he wanted to make a change and difference in that. So he tried to become a person who had everyone's voice heard, but also have them be listened to as well. Make sure everyone has an opinion on something, but also for people to be treated equally, because it's not fair for someone to be oppressed just because the way they were born and they can't control how they were born, especially with skin color or any type of thing. So Malcolm X became the historical figure we know as today.
Next slide. Malcolm X, like Stephanie mentioned earlier, dropped out of high school at a young age of 15, but that didn't stop him. He still pushed himself and he still attended meetings that advocated for Black rights and equal rights in Boston and outside of Boston. Even without having an education, he still managed to grow from his past, which was burglary and drug use and different forms of petty crimes, and excel from that by still attending meetings that advocated for rights, by being outside and actually, making his voice heard, not just having an idea, but actually trying to execute that idea. And even when people tried to push him away and diminish his ideas by attacking him or invading his home like they did in 1941, when his wife was pregnant, when he had 4 daughters at the time, he still came back from that by still attending meetings and still advocating for the rights that he knew him and his fellow people deserved. And I have a statistic in my phone that says in 1946, he was sentenced to 8 to 10 years in Massachusetts State Prison for his criminal activities. And then after that, he still attended meetings in these powerhouses that had other Black colleagues that advocated for civil rights and advocated for equal rights in Boston.
Wow. Next slide, I know.
Yeah.
This one?
Yes. After a robbery conviction, Malcolm X was sentenced to prison in 1946. It was in prison that he had transformed, immersing himself in books about history, religion, Black identity. He joined the Nation of Islam, learning from Elijah Muhammad about Black empowerment, self-reliance. He worked at Mosque 11. Mosque 11.
No problem.
Next slide. We recently went to the Thomas Dillaway house, and it's like a tiny museum in there, which was really cool. And there was a book about different important people in Boston, and Malcolm was on that book because it's pretty important. And then there was a little bio about him, and I had a quote, many quotes of his in that book. Next slide, please. But yeah, Malcolm's legacy is real prominent here, especially in Roxbury. You have a park in honor of him. I feel like everyone knows that park, Malcolm X Park,
Right.
where a lot of cultural events are held, like basketball tournaments are held there. Everywhere in your mom be at Malcolm X Park. You know that park.
Right.
Y'all know that park?
know.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and then right down the street from that park is the Ella Little House where he used to reside, and it's now recognized as a historic landmark. And not too far from the park and the house is Malcolm X Boulevard, which is a huge street that everyone drives their car on, and everyone's near and around. Madison Park and John D. O'Brien are right there. Some great schools, a great boulevard for a great man. So yeah, Malcolm X has made his impact here, and we very much love him and respect him. And that's it.
All right. All right, let's see the real.
And now for their real.
Give me a second. Give me a second because the real was 88, so I have to find it. Now it's 4. All right. All right, so you can share.
Likely by white supremacists, and his mother was later institutionalized. Malcolm Little was born in 1925 in Omaha, Nebraska, into a family deeply involved in civil rights. When he was just 6, his father was killed, likely by white supremacists, and his mother was later institutionalized. As a teenager, Malcolm moved to Boston in the early 1940s to live with his half-sister. Boston's Roxbury neighborhood was a center of black culture, but also faced intense racism and economic hardship, exposing Malcolm to harsh realities that would shape his worldview.
In Boston, Malcolm worked different jobs throughout his life, as a shoe shiner and busboy. But outside of that, he was in the streets hanging out with street crews. He had gotten Detroit Red for his appearance of having bright red hair. He had gotten involved with gambling and hustling, using petty crime as a method of way to survive. As a resident in Roxbury, he witnessed how racism affected housing, jobs, and daily life for black families. These observations led Michael to be the historical figure we know that fought against systematic oppression and injustice.
After a robbery conviction, Malcolm X was sentenced to prison in 1946. It was in prison that he transformed, immersing himself in books about history, religion, and black identity. He joined the Nation of Islam, learning from Elijah Muhammad about black empowerment, self-reliance, and racial pride. Through Malcolm's journey continued beyond Boston, the city's early influence stayed with him, helping shape the leader he would become.
Today, Malcolm is still honored in Boston, especially in Roxbury, through activism and education. One of the prominent tributes to him is Malcolm X Park, where community gatherings, performances, and more are held. Right down the street from this park is the Ella Little House, where he lived and now has turned into a historic landmark. Recently, on May 19th of 2025, Jamal Crawford raised the Pan-African flag in honor of Malcolm's 100th birthday. From Roxbury to the world, Malcolm's legacy still is loud, proud, and unshaken.
That was a mini documentary. Good job. That was a whole documentary. All right. Last but not least. All right. Last but not least,
we have Fast and Furious. Okay.
All right. Am I not sharing something? They made it not really. That's what I lose 15. Okay. Sorry.
So, hey y'all, our son of the soil is John D. O'Brien. Now, me personally, I would walk I've gone on Northeastern campus and seen the John D. O'Brien African American Institute. I've walked past O'Brien just so many times that I've never known the person behind the building or what that legacy meant. And I realized that when we're ignorant of our cultural spaces and our cultural leaders, we're ignorant of the potential of our community. So we've done this reel to really let y'all know what we're capable of.
That's what we're talking about.
Next slide, please. So as you can see, the first photo is like a portrait of John D. O'Brien, and the second photo above, it's in black and white, but it's just him, I think, with a bunch of group of people. And basically, John D. O'Brien was born in 1931. He was born in Boston. We tried to look for the neighborhood he was from, but we couldn't find it. He was a very athletic, to play basketball at Northeastern University while he was studying to be an engineer.
The next slide, please.
There it is.
Okay. In the first picture is the JDOAI, which other people or most people know as the John D. O'Brien African American Institute in Northeastern University. And it focuses on community building, healthy living, and academic success. And they hold events there as the Women's Small the Juneteenth celebration, and also the Golden Hour Brunch. And this is nice because I remember like a few months back, we watched a podcast about redlining, and it was how people were like purposely burning down buildings and leaving them to like tarnish, or also throwing trash in there, so it's not helping the situation. So it's like ripping down cultural hubs, and they're also doing that. They're like ripping down cultural spaces and replacing them with highways. So that's good that that's good that the JDOAI is there. And that's also later where he found his wife, Cicely P. O'Brien, and she worked at Metco and also the Roxbury Comprehensive Health Center, and also Metco. And John D. O'Brien is an educator, politician, and mentor. And he was also the first African American vice president at Northeastern. Oh, and also Cicely P. and John D. O'Brien both opened a trust fund for Black people to learn. Next.
In this slide, it is showcased how John D. O'Brien history was recorded in a newspaper, and in 1977 he was first elected as the first African American to be a member of the Boston School Committee, and how later on in 1983 he was elected as their president. Also, John D. O'Brien was very famous because of his famous cookouts, where he not only cooked for his family of 5 children and his wife, but also for his community, where he tried to kind of like address their concerns. And he was able to do this thanks to his experience serving at the Korean War, where he was a chef.
Next slide. These are his institutes. One is the STEM program in Roxbury, and the other is the one in Northeastern, which is son Richard. He became Dr. Places, and he became an inspirational person to future students and students now.
What if the name on your school building actually fought for your future? John D. O'Brien isn't just a name. He was a force of education and equality in Boston. Born in 1931, right here in the city, he faced what so many people still face: underfunded schools, racism, and a world that didn't expect much from him.
But he fought back. He became one of the first Black engineers to graduate from Northeastern University, and instead of leaving the struggle behind, he came back to it. He taught math and science in Boston Public Schools, but more than that, he mentored. He listened, he showed up.
He believed every student deserved a real shot. In 1977, he made history as the first African American elected as a member to the Boston School Committee. In 1983, he made history as the committee's first Black president.
He fought for equal access and higher standards. Walk into the John D. O'Brien African American Institute at Northeastern of the STEM School in Roxbury with his name on it. A walk in the halls where students have thrived due to his legacy.
He didn't just break barriers, he built bridges. So next time you see his name, remember, he was a trailblazer, a mentor, and a champion for students just like you.
John D in the house. So, you guys take it away for the podcast. So, so you can come back down. Don't worry. I think we got. Yeah, we're just gonna give it one hand. You don't. I mean, if you want, you can do it, but not necessary because I know your hands are tired, Sebastian. I appreciate it. Cool, but don't worry about it.
Okay, y'all, switching gears, we have a podcast, a special podcast episode for y'all today about the ethics of AI, because AI has become like such a hot topic these days, and the use of it in schools and in like professional life is super interesting. We wanted to have a conversation about it. So I'll let Elijah take it away with our first question.
Hello. So the first question is, how would the ethical use of AI look to you? What do you got?
Your question.
Oh. What would the ethical use of AI look to you?
Or ethical use of AI look to you?
I feel like it would look like a tool that's digital that can actually improve somebody's life by allowing them to work at a faster pace or get their work done at a faster pace.
Okay. To add on what TJ just said, basically, not with AI, for someone to use it ethically, I believe they won't use it for negative use or trying to like use someone else with it. So they could use AI for helping with homework, or they need tips on something, or they need to find information, but they can't actually find it, so they rely on the AI to give them a better summary of that topic they need research on.
All right, we're gonna pass it on to Jonathan.
Sorry. So for our second question, how can AI be used for equity?
Well, you guys should talk about it too amongst yourselves. You can just let them say, yeah, y'all just be quiet. Yeah.
I mean, I know that what we learned about is that AI sometimes like you can create you don't have to go to like an institution like a college or take a class or spend money, because you have the ability to like have like ChatGPT help and teach you, and it like bridges a gap because now you don't need to like be of a certain socioeconomic class to learn a skill, and that's really important, and that helps bridge the gap between like classes.
Right.
And would anybody in the audience want to speak on that?
Yes. Y'all had the question for like 2 days now.
Not all at once now.
Yes. Does anybody want to say anything?
I got the mic because y'all want to talk.
Terrence has a mic.
Oh, yeah. Terrence got a mic. Terrence, you got something to say? Okay, go ahead, bro. He's gonna hit you with that smile. You know he doesn't want to say anything. You want to say something? I don't want to put you too much on the spot. Somebody else, come on. We all had a great discussion on this, and the reason why we had a discussion is so you guys would have a lot of background and what to say. So when we come here, we can't say we haven't had the discussion. How can AI be a tool used for equity?
And what we mean by equity is like, how can it kind of like equal the playing field between people who might not have, like somebody who has a bunch of resources and somebody who doesn't, you know, or how can AI be used to help people who might have been disadvantaged or marginalized, or just how can it help you in any way?
I guess if you ask like AI a question like ChatGPT or Copilot, it doesn't really have any filters. So like I guess you can ask it anything. So I guess if you have like any private questions that you don't want to like ask an actual person, you can like ask the AI and it will tell you.
To help like bridge the gap, like you can talk to ChatGPT or Snapchat AI and be like, hey, give me a bunch of websites that help with like food pantry or women's shelters around me if you ever need help with it. Because who could give everything, how it can help bridge the gap. And it's just really helpful in general if you're like a kid and just app that can help me with my math homework. AI is literally the app that can help you with your math homework. Okay, y'all, I put you on. But to move on to the next question is, do you think AI destroys or creates jobs, or both, and why?
Okay, I believe both. So let me go off with the negative. So with AI destroying jobs, there has been like reports I've seen on social media with grocery stores replacing actual workers with AI robots. And also in some facilities, I overheard that in hospitals, there's AIs controlling people's life support, and that could be dangerous because what if the AI malfunctions and it ends up cutting off the life support of the person, and that leads to the person dying, and that could cause a whole issue. So that's what I believe with AI destroying jobs, because with AI becoming more advanced each day, it's causing like a place where people can't actually work in these jobs. But the positive impact with AI is that it could be somewhat beneficial. So what I could say is that with AI, if someone's like out sick or that they can't come in to do like a personal issue, like they can have a little robot assistant. But I wouldn't really rely too much on AI because there's like been a lot of things and theories that if AI ends up going against us, they could use the knowledge they have from us and use it against us in a way of like, we'll be tormented and such.
I feel like both, like Stephanie was saying, AI can destroy jobs because my ELA teacher was telling us, and he works for AI, by the way. He was telling us that they're trying to have robots replace doctors, and they already started testing them in, I think, China. They started having them come into hospitals, and like they're programming them to understand how to understand certain lingo. That when you code it, they know, oh, this person needs this need or that need. So that's going to replace doctors soon if that starts spreading throughout the US and other places. I think that could be damaging because we already have a job crisis right now where people are looking for jobs, they can't really find any. But I also feel like it could be helpful for companies that interviews for people instead of having somebody text, like interviews different people, sets of different interviews. And that's helpful for them because saving them time, finding people to text people that are not looking for jobs. Yeah.
And I also feel like there are certain things in like regards to AI that I feel like sometimes a job just needs to be a person actually doing. Like if you're like customer service, sometimes I don't want to hear a bot tell me what to go, or I don't want to text about all of my personal information. I want to like speak to like a person. And I think that I feel like when you're talking about destroying some of these jobs or replacing a job or having a whole job market wiped out, it's kind of scary to people who or maybe already have a degree in that job, or they're already looking for work, and it's kind of like scary to see more jobs going out.
I think for like one example for a job like being a therapist, I notice a lot of people be talking to AI like, oh, what should I do? Like my man is doing this, my man they can help you, but then it gets to a point where they're like, oh, I don't understand. What are you talking about? They can't help you no more. You need to talk to a real person about your problems. And then sometimes AI is not wired properly, so it can lead you to do bad things. So there was one kid that he was talking to an AI robot, and it told him it was in love with him, and it should do like he should self-harm himself to be with that robot. And the robot's not real; it's not a real person, so it could lead you to do dangerous things. So if you actually need mental health help, you should go to an actual person. But yeah, does anyone else have any thoughts about that?
Okay, to add on to that, there has been like one incident where apparently, I can't speak too much on it, but this person, a teen around our age, he was talking to some AI or person that has AI, and he was using the AI tool against him, saying, oh, I'll create these type of pictures of you and post them around. And it's not actual pictures of the person, it's just him using the AI to create those type of photos. And unfortunately, that led to the teen ending up killing himself because he was too afraid to speak up about it, or afraid for those pictures to be posted around, because people wouldn't know if it's real or not. They'll be quick to assume it's real, but you don't know what the true story is behind it. So yeah.
Right. Next question.
Let's do the next question.
So just a real, we have like 20 minutes to 3, so we want to kind of wrap up and.
Words. Okay. So. Regulate, restrict people on the internet. Yeah, like how to make AI like much more better, so like people don't fall in love with AI and all. Yeah, like doing all that.
Sure. Okay. What with people falling in love with AI, they could have a restriction mode and be like, oh, if the person implies to something like with love and stuff, the AI could be like, sorry, I'm just a robot, I can't do that. Or okay. So I'm sorry about that. So yeah, restrictions mode. Like, add restrictions to the AI, because if there's people falling in love with it, honestly, that's kind of an issue. But also, there should be restrictions with the usage with AI, because I remember like there's some app. Oh, sorry, I can't like be in this robot form. But then people could build the AI to reply back like an actual human would, and that's kind of concerning, because now it's like, oh, this and that. And I could say with school, I mean, AI can help you explain it, like with some certain math problems or issues you need help with. But then also there's students, and I know if you honestly, not gonna say names, but there has been students being so used to AI and just rely on it every day. And it's like, what if you end up actually being tested and you can't use the AI? Now the school's gonna see like, oh, you're not actually the student we thought you would be. You'll be more of the student rely on AI. So I will see AI as like, oh, it can help you, but you can't do anything. You're just gonna be like, oh, simply AI, boom, cheat. That's right.
I feel like AI could be better regulated by doing mental health checks. Somebody that has a mental health problem shouldn't be on it. They shouldn't be able to use it, because a situation like Stephanie and Jasmine were mentioning earlier with the boy that killed himself, he probably had a problem. I'm pretty sure he did have a problem mentally, because he was believing everything that the bot was telling him. And if the app was telling him like, oh, if that asks questions like, oh, do you have this problem? Do you have this problem? You probably wouldn't have continued to use it because it would have told him like, oh, you can't use this AI. You have to go talk to somebody or something.
I feel like AI, I feel like there should be restrictions. I don't know if anybody is used to Siri, but in Alexa, if you ask them like, you know, like love thingies and like try to follow it up with like Siri or Alexa, they always kind of like go like, oh, I don't understand. Oh, I don't. They basically say like things that they don't understand, or they just, you know, not respond to you. And I feel like AI should have that ability as these other AIs that help us do regular things on like our regular basis. Because AI is supposed to be like helping us, like AI is working for us. It's not like AI is something that you're supposed to like, oh, be in a relationship in or be your therapist. It's definitely not supposed to be a therapist because literally it can make you self-harm. Like it's not stable enough for you to like have it as a therapist. And that's all I have to say.
For me, I feel like there's so much like AI can help you scan people. It can like modify how you look. You can make deep fakes, and like AI is becoming more and more real, and like it's able to do things that it wasn't able to do a year from that, a year ago. And the more advanced it, if there are any laws or any codes restricting AI, which is also very scary because of the way it's like can harm people.
Yeah, I think it should just be regulated more often. So, for example, if I went on TikTok and just looked up like drugs, it's gonna be like, oh, give me a hotline number and like we need help. But I keep talking back to you, and it just kind of needs to have like a little stop button and just be like, well, can't respond to that direction to a hotline or you need help. But does anyone else have anything to add? An audience? Oh, okay, you can go ahead. You got the mic.
Okay, I would say AI should. Okay. Probably you could like regulate it by putting restrictions. So like search restrictions. If you search something up bad, I feel like. Okay, an example of what I mean by that is like, let's say if you're trying to sign into something and you put in your password, and say like, oh, are you a robot or something stupid, and it's gonna constantly ask you that, or even if you get like the puzzle thing right, it's still gonna be like, oh, you did it wrong, you're a robot, and it's not gonna let you in. I feel like if you search up something weird with AI, it should do the same thing. It should like kind of quiz you or be like, what are you searching that up for? Or like put some kind of stop to it instead of just like continuously talking back to you like she said about it. I think that AI should like kind of do police reports because very weird questions and they're like getting away with it because there's no restrictions or filters with AI.
All right. We
have 10 minutes left, so let's go to the last one.
Okay, so I think for our last question, we should ask, what are some of the advancements you think AI will be able to do in the next 10 years? And okay, that's about AI being used more and more, and I will definitely be able, like, you know, they have like robots that can do surgeries better than people because they're just more precise and they don't have like they're just not human, and those are the advancements we may have, especially in the medical field, which could be a good thing. It could be more like affordable. You don't have to like pay a doctor necessarily, but I think AI in the medical field.
I'm kind of gonna piggyback right about this. I feel like that an AI machine, you know, like not machine, being more in the medical field, mostly in surgeries. I think that's gonna be something that's very possible because how like precise they are, and there's no like pressure on the AI because the AI is not, doing anything, and it will like make sure that like the life rate for like the surgery, like the almost cost of death would like change by a lot of percentages, which is kind of good, but it's also kind of scary because nothing scary about like AI or somebody else coding that AI and turning that AI to do something else that's not supposed to happen or almost function, which is really scary because AI, but it could not be right. So it's basically the same thing as a human doing like surgery as well.
I agree. I feel like AI is going to be taking over jobs in hospitals and in supermarkets. They already started doing. They have robots that can walk through and scan people and help people to check out their items. And I feel like as far as surgeries and stuff like that, they say, oh, it's better to have them and replace them with actual doctors because they're going to be more precise. Since they can already be calculated, they're going to have more precise measures of how to go about operating on people.
Okay, what to add for me to add on is that with AI, I feel like, yeah, they're going to be taking over like, basic jobs like in hospitals, all of that, but also that could lead to like more dangerous measures because what I mentioned earlier, being triggered and be like cutting off that person's life support, or an AI handling medicine, or AI handling, and like I feel like AI will just get advanced and probably take over people's jobs, and maybe there'll be some restrictions on it, but not too much because right now there's little restrictions on AI, and what Zaya mentioned earlier about people searching up certain things that could lead to more dangers, and that people should really get like. Although I could give like a background check because it's a person asking a robot, person's like yada yada yada. So yeah, that's what I personally believe. And AI, yeah, I don't think it'll be good for them to be in like hospitals and stuff because you never know what could happen. One day the AI could shut down and the AI will be like, oh, not functioning well, and AI will just be like, oh well, not functioning, and the person can end up dying or just be injured. And an actual human, like, we don't have any knowledge because we're so reliant on.
What was that? I had it in my head too. Oh, I imagine AI being like more in like the restaurant environment, to kind of like, oh, hello today, I'm your waiter, this, that, and the third. Like, I don't think they'll really put it into hospitals, but I hope people have like a better mindset to do that because we need actual people in hospitals helping people. But like I could see them in like restaurants or maybe a mall. Not too crazy. But does anyone else have anything to add? Me, Alicia? Can you pass that mic, please?
For me, in the next 10 years, I think AI is going to show up more in homes. And what I mean by that is like, oh, I don't know, you have this home system AI. So like, I don't know, you can ask the AI to shut off all the lights or to set the thermostat to this temperature or something like that. But I also think in the next 10 years, we focus on AIs, but they're human beings, sort of. Like, those, I don't know how to explain it. Like that one Tesla robot is like a human being and people can buy it. Mm-hmm. I think people are going to be focusing more on those type of AIs and trying to advance those further. So that's what I think the next 10 years is going to look like.
All right. Anyone else? Passing the mic.
Okay, right, close to 3.
Okay, so
I want to take a group picture too. you have a question?
Okay, so to add on, I don't really think AI will be in a hospital, but it's a possibility. You know, people will be cheaper or whatever. But also, I feel like the world in 10 years with AI will be like more like Megan. If y'all watch a movie named Megan, and stuff, it's like a robot that looked like a human being, and I feel like there will be like a lot of robots running around the streets, you know, talking to people, acting like they're a real person and stuff.
Oh. Take me now, Lord. Alrighty.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, about the question. I think AI is going to be more used in war because, like, in our country, these things, because every single thing we have are more money about war things and like coalition. We can use this for war. We can use this for attacking, advancing. Y'all not gonna be there at the first thing, like hack another nation, turn off the power, doing that. That's what Russia's doing to the Ukraine, hacking the power, taking all this stuff. Like AI is dangerous in other people's hands. We can use it as much as we want. It matters about the person who can use it. But if it goes off control and all that stuff, like making robots like Megan and all that stuff, and have like interfaces, if it gets smarter, it's gonna get like go against it or something like that. AI is good at the future. I don't know what's gonna happen. Not really. Right. I'm gonna be confident. No, 10 out of 10 for war. So yeah.
All right, let's not give AI to Elon or Trump. That was and being here. Remember, follow us at the.Chop It Up Pod, and you know, have a good day.
All right, I'm gonna do one group before y'all go.